Inside of today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the best 10 brawlers to max out within this meta. So some of these brawlers could be really good on ladder, really good on power league, and really strong in certain game modes. So before we jump into it, make sure you use the create code. That'd be greatly appreciated. Without further ado, let's hop into it. So starting off the ranking with Surge. So I'm not going to be ranking any brawler in particular order because of course it can just depend on which brawlers you're actually good at. But Surge, I think Surge is a perfect brawler to max out. I would always recommend, no matter the meta, to max out Surge just because of how strong both his gadgets are and also his Serve Ice Cold Star power. But not only that, he's a really good brawler to carry randoms with. You know, I know this from my own experience trying to get Surge to mastery. I feel like he's one of the easiest brawlers to play with random, so that's also a good contributing factor as well. And just as well, he's just really made for this meta. He's one of the strongest brawlers in the game right now, in particular against those tankier units. And I just feel like he has so much value out of him when it comes down to ladder. In Power League, I won't really say he's the type of brawler which you can like first or second pick, but he's definitely a really good counter option to a lot of the meta brawlers. So moving on to the next brawler, which is really key to max out within this meta, is Lu. So Lu has never really been anywhere near the top of the meta until now. Normally, he was only really usable in Hot Zone and then Siege in the past, but now I think he's definitely usable. He's incredibly toxic when it comes down to ladder as well. In Brawl, he's solid in every single map that I've played on so far, but within Power League, he's good on Canal Grande, for example, good on every Brawl map. Maybe not as like a first pick all of the time, but definitely a really solid option because if you do draft Lu, not only is he good against those tanks, but once he gets super, he can counter every brawler in the game with a quick gadget and a quick freeze gem grab. He can be somewhat solid as well. And the Hot Zone, of course, he's going to be really OP. So for me, Lu is a must max out in this meta, especially with the supercharged gear. So next up on the list, we have Dynamite. So you guys might be a little bit confused by this one, but I think the first time in a very long time, Dynamite is actually incredibly meta, especially on ladder. He's one of the most frustrating brawlers for me to face off against right now, especially with so many unbreakable walls, just like the map in rotation right now. Field goal, Dynamite can just absolutely hard carry. Good Dynamite, especially with good stuns and good supers, can easily hard carry against anyone. Of course, if you're facing off against Mortis, it might be a little bit difficult, but overall, he's so incredibly strong when it comes down to ladder gameplay. But not only that, he's a really dangerous last pick on a lot of Power League maps. So if you're a good Dynamite, definitely right now is the time to practice him and play him as much as possible, because for me, I actually think he's secretly OP. Like, it's been definitely, he's been sneaking under the radar in the last meta, but now with unbreakable walls, even better. Like, I'd even play him on Canal Grande, for example. Brawl, he's always been a solid last pick there. On some well, on one gem grab map, acute angle. Heist, you know, pit stop unfortunately has been removed, but it can definitely be usable on center control, for example, and just any map with any walls, you're going to get a lot of value with Dynamite. So moving on to the next best brawler to max out, we have Ashe. So Ashe is still insane in this meta, especially as a last pick in Power League. He's just so dominant. Unbreakable walls have been added as well, and that's just only going to help brawlers like Ashe out, because normally his best counters were types of wall breaks like Griff, for example. So Ashe is just thriving even more in this meta, and as I said, as a last pick, you've always got to be scared of an Ashe, so you know yourself, if you do max out an Ashe, you're going to have that potential just to carry absolutely. So in Canal Grande, he's an absolute beast on that map. Every single Brawl map, every single gem grab map, I would consider using him as a last pick. Not really the best in Heist, still maybe use him on some Hot Zone maps as well, like Iron Cover and Split. You can actually get a lot of value out of Ashe as well, and probably stay away from Knockout, but just so many game modes where he's so dominant on, it's definitely worth maxing him out. So moving on to the next brawler to max out, we have Sam. So I believe I recommended Sam the past few times as well. Even with his recent nerf, I still feel like he's near at the top of the meta, and he's just really good to max out, especially this brawler, because again, he's a really good carry brawler. If you're good with Sam, you can absolutely cause so much havoc on the field and get so much value. So for me, it's just like Ashe. He's really strong on those certain maps and in game modes, but you know, as I said, if he's left unnoticed and without enough counters, he's going to absolutely dominate. So that's why I definitely recommend maxing him out. So again, just like those maps which I recommended with Ashe, that's pretty much where Ashe is going to be really strong on as well. I feel like it's a little bit more versatile, because at least with Sam, you can hit people from afar with your super, and you know, whereas with Ashe, you of course got to be in close combat for the most part. At least Sam, you can snipe a few people from that maximum range, so it's definitely needed. His star power and gadget really make him super well-rounded. Without it, he wouldn't be nowhere near as good. So moving on to the next best brawler to max out within this meta, we have Ems. So Ems is definitely making a big comeback in the meta. She was always just okay. She was slowly going down and down in the rankings, of course, with all the wall breaks and other stuff, and just brawlers like Otis just doing a lot of a better job of countering tanks. But I think Ems is definitely making a huge comeback, especially with these unbreakable walls. So you can see a lot of these brawlers are making somewhat of a turning point in meta because of this, but it is a huge change, right? And especially because of these walls, you know, normally with Ems, you could counter her by just having roughs or like a griff in your composition, and then you could just easily outrange her. But now she can easily get so much value behind them because, of course, once you get your super, it's so hard to stop an Ems when she's behind a wall, especially when you combine this with her gadget as well. So I'm just seeing her pop up a lot more frequently in the draft when it comes down to gem grab, when it comes down to Brawl. Those are the two main game modes where you see a ton more. So next up we have Tick. So as you guys know, throwers are really dominant in this meta, and Tick is definitely improved such a lot with unbreakable walls. He's started to be a lot more prominent, especially in the game modes he was already pretty decent at, you know, bounty and knockout. You know, before he wasn't really picked often on those game modes, where maybe on ladder he probably was, but now in Power League and especially in competitive, he's used a lot more in bounty and knockout. So it can be really crucial to at least max out one thrower right now, probably even two, because of course a lot of people are banning him out, and Tick is a good brawler to max out because his gadget is one of the best in the games, his star power is one of the best in the games, so of course you're going to get a lot of value when you do max him out, and just overall he's a super annoying brawler. Of course I wouldn't really recommend playing him in any other game modes like Heist, Hot Zone. He's not really good in any of those gem grab as well. Brawl, he might be a little bit pushable, but of course there's a lot of mortis, so got to be careful. But overall, I think Tick is definitely really strong right now, and it's definitely worthwhile maxing him out. So next up on the best brawlers to max out, we have Penny. So I know it's pretty boring to put Penny on this list pretty much every single time, but she hasn't decreased in her rankings whatsoever. It's been such a long time since she's even been away from like the top 5 or top 10 brawlers in the game. She's just super consistent, and you really want a brawler like that in your brawler pool because you know you can always rely on them when it comes down to the Power League draft system. So literally in every single game mode, I would consider picking a Penny. You know, she's not always like the go-to option, but again, you know that for sure that you're going to have value against multiple brawlers on the field. You know, maybe there's one brawler like a thrower or something, or maybe like a really good aggro player that can counter you, but overall your turret's going to do a lot of damage. You have one of the best gadgets in the game with Salty Barrel, which you can literally one or two shots so many different brawlers, and just overall she's super annoying to deal with. As I said, like in draft, she's incredibly strong, so it's pretty hard to ignore the fact that you still need to max her out within this meta. So moving on to the next brawler to max out, we still have Poco. So again, another brawler that has received a nerf, but I think Unbreakable Walls has just helped him out even more, and I just think he's a super annoying brawler to face off against myself, so I do definitely recommend maxing him out. So of course he's super versatile. I feel like he can be used pretty much everywhere except for those really long range maps, and still then if it's Hot Zone at least, he's going to be a really solid pick. So Bounty, he's good on Canal Grande. Brawl, he's good literally everywhere, especially towards the beginning of the draft. Gem Grabber as well, he's used pretty much everywhere as well, probably except for Harder Up Mine. Heist, of course, I won't recommend using him there. Hot Zone, he's like the best brawler there, or one of the best brawlers for sure. They didn't really see him too much in Knockout, but you see he's just really available in a lot of different game modes. And I just still feel like he's super dangerous because he just packs such a big punch with his damage. Of course, he can counter so many compositions with his other gadget as well. And I just feel like the value that he provides in so many different game modes is just insane. And moving on to the final brawler to max out, we have Mandy. So Mandy is by no means like a really OP brawler right now, but within Bounty and Knockout, those two game modes in particular, she's like the best brawler there. So it's definitely worthwhile maxing her out. Main reason being is because her super can just be devastating in those game modes. Not only that, just because she has like the longest range inside of a game, and her star power really helps her hit multiple snipes. So the star power that makes you shoot much faster when you're focused, I think it's called In My Sights, that's really going to help you out. So of course maxing her out is going to be pretty valuable. She's got two really strong gadgets as well, and I just think a good Mandy is going to absolutely carry you because she actually deals quite a fair bit of damage. Like a good Mandy can free tap a lot of the meta brawlers, even in some cases when they don't use shield gear, to tap them with just her main attack. So for me, Mandy is definitely worthwhile maxing her out. Alright guys, it's going to be it for today's video. Hope you enjoyed this one. So this video is mainly just done on brawlers that are really good with their star powers, gadgets, and with specific gears. But not only that, I just tried to mix it up, brawlers that are good on ladder, good on Power League, and that kind of stuff. So of course, every brawler is pretty good when you max them out, but these ones in particular, I would say are pretty just vital to max out. There's also a few other brawlers as well which you could max out, which are pretty good. Like Otis, for example, B, Spike, I had it on my list as well. Even, Gray can still be pretty good at maxing out. Just overall, I feel like there's like 10 in particular which really stand out. So that's going to be it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.